Hello, once again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, of course, a wonderful thanks to those who have kept us going for some time now and helped us bring this to you for free, whichever platform you choose to listen. Thanks to Thrift Store Jobber, Pollyanna DIY, Sean Jaundice over at Voodoo Monkey Tattoo, Smokin' Jay's Barbecue, and of course the wonderful tag team duo of Smart Mark Video and IWTV. Thanks to those two combining forces and merging together, watching AIW's never been easier. Go to smartmarkvideo.com, purchase some physical media, watch us on DVD, or purchase an MP4 to download. And if you like all sorts of independent wrestling, if that's your jam, you want to stream things constantly, for $9.99 a month, sign up at independentwrestling.tv, and you can watch IWTV live streams, archived independent wrestling shows, AIW, of course, on there with a rotating archive. Use the code ABSOLUTE and let them know that we sent you there. And with that, we get into this week's episode of AIW's The Card is Going to Change with
North Canton Chamber of Commerce. Shout them out.
With AIW owner John Thorne. My name is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. That's right, folks. Back by popular demand, it's time for the shout-out portion of the show. Shout-out to the North Canton Chamber of Commerce. Shout-out to AJ telling all the wrestlers that they suck. Little AJ. How old is little AJ?
6.
Do we know? 6 years old, telling everybody that they suck. That was great. Pedro's kid taking bumps in the ring in between.
Can't have children adjacent to the wrestlers coming to shows, because all they want to do is get in the ring and run around, and then it causes civilian children to want to get in the ring and run around, and that's just a dangerous proposition.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah,
shout out
to Tom Dunn
and the fruitcakes.
Shout out to Tom Dunn. He didn't have any children there.
Tom Dunn did not have any children there. Tom Watt and the fruitcakes for jamming out some Jimmy Buffett songs. Shout out to Porter O'Shea. He got some time out there. Shout out to Pavs.
Shout out, my mic's peaking.
Shout out to Pavs. Nate.
Shout out to Pavs.
Shout out to Pavs and Nate over at Pavs, the owner.
Yeah, Pavs was instrumental. For people that don't know Pavs is like there's a couple different locations in like Summit, Stark County area. It's like an ice cream shop. They have alcoholic milkshakes. They were very instrumental in getting AIW lined up with the gig this past weekend on Saturday. So shout out to Pavs. Shout out to Nate. Shout out to Dom.
Shout out to Dom for working for Nate and having that whole thing set up. Plus Dom with the new modern playlist. We had some songs that went past 1987, so that was great.
Shout out to Traxler. Shout out to Traxler. Get well soon.
Yeah, get well soon, Traxler. He's been sick. He's been a little under the weather. We hope the best for him.
Shout out to Traxler.
And speaking of the weather, shout out to Carter, AIW student Carter, for standing in the sun. He's a fair-skinned young man, John Thorne. I don't know if you saw his face after recording those shows on Sunday, but he was burnt red.
I did not see his face because by the time the show was over, I was a little intoxicated. By show number 4.
Oh man! Shout out to Steve Wilder, according to the Duke, the future former mayor of North Canton. Shout out to him, and I feel like that covers all the shout outs. A lot of great shout outs. Bittersweet shout out, John Thorne. I gotta do this one because the day that we're recording this is Shannon's birthday. And we still miss her. We love her. So
man, I saw Gary.
Can't not shout her out,
I saw Gary right on her Facebook wall in my feed. Man, brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. Very very sad.
So shout out to her. We'll always gonna miss her, and that's pretty good. I think those are good solid. Shout out to Malcolm Cambridge and Calvin G. Lewis. Shout out to those two guys. They finally made their debut in an AIW ring this past weekend at the North Canton Main Street Festival.
You never know what you're gonna miss.
So, good on. You never know what you're gonna miss at an AIW show, and you missed that. And shout out to the Dukes, whole new cabinet, the deputy mayor Eric Taylor, the chief of police Joshua Bishop, and Mayor Dukes. Also rounding out Mayor Duke's cabinet is the quote unquote sexiest man alive, Wes Barkley. That's the role that Duke gave him in the cabinet.
I literally spit beer all over Pedro's wife when Duke cut that promo. I was so apologetic. It was just uncontrollable. I was just taking a drink, and the Duke was just, doing his typical Duke ranting, which is, whatever. And he said that he was electing Joshua Bishop to the chief of police as his first order of business when he takes office and becomes the new mayor of North Canton, Ohio. And I literally did it for real spit take. I spit beer all like Pedro's wife was sitting down right in front of me, and I spit beer all over her, and I felt so awful about it. But god damn it, it was so funny. Like I don't just, you can't even describe it and do it justice. But man, it was so funny.
We did record these, so we had, for those who were not there, and you really missed out on a whole day of fun. It was a blast, and a great crowd. We did 4 different shows, and the noon show was probably a little bit lighter. It was the lightest one because it was the very first one that we did. But I mean, I would say we probably had, even at that show, I bet you we had like 100 or more people watching. Don't you think, John?
Oh, easily.
And then by the end, we had probably like 300 people watching.
No, dude, it was way more than 300.
Was it?
Yeah,
well, those bleachers are hard to tell. They're just deceiving. Yeah, you're right, because those bleachers probably
it was like
200 people, and then yeah.
It was like 500 to 700 people at the end. Like, it was a lot. Like, I mean,
I don't know. I didn't think it was that many, but maybe, I guess.
Yeah, they were sucking down those. You were sucking those margaritas down. Listen.
The guy who just said he was intoxicated by the end of the 4th show.
Yeah, but I was like walking around because I kept having to go get more drinks. So, I would get the whole kind of like perimeter of everything, and it was a ton of people.
It was a good time. We did bust out the iPads and recorded all 4 of the shows or segments, however you want to describe them. So they are 4 1-hour shows, and we'll figure it out. We'll get it up on the, what do you think, the Patreon? We'll throw it up there.
Yeah, I don't know if, maybe we'll just do individual matches. I don't know if we'll put up the whole hours. We'll feel it up. But we got a ton of content for Patreon over the weekend. So, we're looking at diversifying a little bit of, where you can find our stuff, making Patreon a top priority to close out 2021. So, I'm thinking that's probably going to be the best place for it to land. As we've stated on here, sometimes the streaming numbers, for Go for Broke, weren't the best. So, our thought is, let's see, if we put this content on our Patreon for our, just our hardcore fans, and don't kind of worry about that. Mm-hmm. Oh man, like what's the numbers on the, North Canton show number 3, like just kind of let's put it out there, extra content for our hardcore fan base on Patreon, and see if they enjoy it that way.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Zoe Sky. We got to see her in an AIW ring for the first time in years.
Yeah, shout her out.
That was great. Shout out to that dog that didn't like it though when she beat up Jocelyn.
Yeah.
That was pretty good moment there.
Yeah, so it was speaking about kind of diversifying where we're gonna put content, this was a good example of diversifying AIW as a whole, and offering a completely different fan experience than we typically do on a regular AIW event. I told a lot of people this on Saturday when I became a promoter. These were just the types of shows like I absolutely despised, like the quote unquote fair show or whatever, like just random wrestling, not like a big attraction type of independent wrestling event.
Yeah.
And now having done it, I get it now. You know what I mean? Like it's obviously, listen, it was a paid gig. We've been pretty open about that. It was a bought gig. But there were so many benefits to it, besides, getting a payment. It's so beneficial for, especially, every wrestler would be beneficial for, but especially our students to work in front of a primarily non-AIW, non-wrestling crowd, and a huge one. And Whiskers agrees.
Oh, yeah.
And figure out how to get a reaction and, work differently. What you're going to do in the Odeon isn't going to work, in this festival setting. And what you do in this festival setting may not work in the Odeon. And I found it to be such a great learning experience, and also just a great kind of resume builder for AIW as a whole to be able to, put on this type of show and, cater to really just an entire community, you know what I mean? With 4 hours of entertainment throughout the day, on top of, we did meet and greets and different autograph signing types of things. So, we were there for pretty much, 8 hours, I would say, give or take 8 hours. And, that was, not including setup time. I'm saying, from when people,
right.
Consumers started showing up, we were on display for 8 hours, and I thought that it went really well.
Yeah, and it was, to your point, this is an opportunity to also, the benefit of expanding and getting in front of fans who have never seen us before and had a great time. And thought, oh man, we got to push that. Hey, here's when we've got a show in Akron, and we come to the Tadmore Shrine from time to time, which is right up the road from you. And these people maybe never knew that, and now they're hearing that we're going to be there. And so it's a fun thing there. And we gave a shout out to Malcolm Cambridge and Calvin G. Lewis, and it's again back to the students. This was a way to give them an opportunity to get in front of a crowd and work actual matches. And it was a really old school vibe because, to your point of the Odeon, the guys who are established walk out from those curtains in the Odeon, and there's already a reaction. They've already got the crowd for the most part, one way or the other. Whereas, and to a degree, they could be spoiled with it, right? Whereas opposed to something like this, the audience has no idea who you are. And it's back to Wrestling 101, establishing heels and baby faces and working that live crowd. Like, these people loved the character stuff more than, they don't need to see tons of flips and things,
Yeah, nobody's
gifting that from the crowd.
It was Pro Wrestling 101, no doubt. And, I looked at it really as, in politics or whatever you want to call it, a community outreach sort of thing, where, we were literally set up right in the middle of a street, and we were attracting people walking by, which this festival had thousands of people throughout the day, easily, probably 10,000 or more people came through that festival all day long. And, every hour, we would get going and the crowd would continue to grow. If we did a 2-hour show, that there's no telling how big the crowd would have probably gotten. But it was nice. It was a nice schedule, I think, for us and the people, attending the festival. They came, they saw an hour of entertainment, got to have fun, and, got to move on, and we were alternating back and forth with bands, performances, and different things. At the other end, we were kind of at the far end, kind of bookending the festival, and then on the completely opposite end, there was a large stage with bands and things like that. So I think it worked out well. From what I understand, the city was really kind of half and half on it, very 50-50 on it, not sold on the idea of pro wrestling. And like I said, Pavs and, the people at Pavs really kind of, advocated for us and, kind of bought into the idea that this is a unique form of entertainment that, would kind of provide a different experience than what they usually have at the North Canton Street Festival. And after the fact, like people from the city council and the Chamber of Commerce and a lot of the city's high-ranking officials said that we exceeded all expectations. They all had a lot of fun. They were getting great feedback from the people in the community that attended the festival as it was going on. And that is really, because of our crew. And, I know sometimes, we rag on them for different things, but, when it's time to show up and, do what you have to do, the AIW crew, I think, is second to none, and I think that really is because this show and our shows are really becoming less wrestling shows and more like a traveling team. You know what I mean? Like it's certainly a team, especially, on a show like this where almost everybody is a product of the AIW school. You know what I mean? It really is like a team sport, as opposed to a wrestling booking. And, stuff like that matters because, you know how to act, you know what needs to get done. And, everyone is kind of there putting in the effort to, make sure everything runs smoothly. And, I'm really proud of, how everything went on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was a fun time. I think everybody involved had fun. The kids watching, the parents who brought their kids, the adults who just stopped by to watch, and everybody in the crew that helped out and did something, enjoyed it. It was a family-friendly show, but it's funny just like how much looser it felt the vibe was for everybody involved with AIW. Like, hey, we're still doing our thing here, but it's not streaming. Yeah, there's still some pressure, go have a good match, but like it was a different, less pressure,
It was a different type of pressure because it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go have this match on this stream in front of this hardcore audience, but it was more of, I put pressure on people before they went out and said, listen, like, I know, and this is kind of to a point to why I hated these types of shows, is you go to these types of shows and, the wrestlers look at it like fuck around time. And it's like, I'm just going to fuck around and I'm going to, do whatever. And I'm not going to work hard. And I went and I talked to everybody in the locker room and I said, listen, this isn't a fuck around show. This isn't, the do whatever and, don't take any bumps and just kind of, wrestle in a t-shirt and just, like, just not take it seriously. I said, we are performing essentially for a city government. You know what I mean? Like a city government that is going to potentially either recommend us and also bring us back every year and make this a consistent gig, and maybe, shop us out to get more of these types of gigs, or we're going to prove everybody that thought this was a bad idea right. There's two choices we can make, because everyone knows pro wrestling has a stigma for whatever reason, to outside types of civilians and just regular people. There were a lot of people probably within the city council that wanted this event to fail, and it didn't. And we performed and we put on. Everyone put their best foot forward in different ways. Like you were saying, it wasn't go out there and bleed or break doors or do all this crazy stuff. It was effort in a much different way, and I think it really paid off.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and we'll rotate here into what is to come for us this week. But before I do, of course, next week, I do want to mention real quick the shows August 27th and August 28th. Those are quote unquote sold out already. And we've released some additional tickets. I think all going to be general admission, standing room only. Is that right, John?
Yeah, so we had a few people that had bought stage, general admission, and a couple second row for the 27th. Had things come up, and tickets were refunded, so some of those opened up, and then I released about 50 more general admission for 827. Which will be standing room only, and then I really Wrestle Rager was totally sold out, and I released another 50 for that as well, and that is probably going to be that as far as tickets being released for both of those shows.
There you go. If for some reason we get an okay on Wrestle Rager, it will be walk up only, realistically, as we're still sort of figuring out how big that space is going to be.
Yeah, I was actually there today. I spoke to the people at First Stop, did some, man, it's been like a crazy busy, like, couple weeks, to be honest, just trying to, all these moving parts in order. The people at First Stop called me today, and, they're working on, just streamlining everything. From what I understand, they're gonna offer like a light beer, a seltzer, 2 liquors, and another beer outside. You know what I mean? Like in the event area, they're gonna have like some real easy concessions, like fries and hot dogs outside, and then inside they'll have a full service bar. I think he said 16 beers on draft, every liquor available, but they're going with a limited menu because of the capacity, the amount of people coming in. They don't want to say like, hey, they have like a 4-page menu. They're not gonna just offer that and just
Yeah, it makes it easier on their staff for sure.
Right. So I spoke to them, and then Pedro and I were out there earlier this evening, kind of walking the show space, because we're gonna kind of make barriers with we're buying fencing pretty much to fence in the show area. So we went and kind of measured all that out earlier this evening, and got all that stuff, the ball rolling on all that stuff, and so that's going well. a movie production is trying to buy our date at the Odeon on the 27th. I don't even know how much I'm allowed to say. I'm standing firm though. I'm standing firm though, and it is up to an astronomical amount of money to turn down. But I am standing firm because I just want to do the show more than get an astronomical amount of money. As stupid as that sounds, I think if we have to move the date or cancel the show for money, that's just a disservice to our fans that are looking forward to it. But man, it is a lot of money. I think I don't know what it is. I don't know what the movie is, but it's a lot. And yeah, I don't know. They keep calling me, trying to just talk me into it. And I said, well, what if we just set up later? And they're like, no, we want the whole day. And the Odeon, props to the Odeon. They're not caving either. They said it's up to us. And they've offered the Odeon quite a bit of money.
Shout out to the Odeon.
And shout out to Chris and, his whole team over there. But yeah, it is lots of phone calls, to say the least, going on. It's been pretty crazy. So I see you have a cat in the background.
Yes, the cat is down in the background. She has arrived here. No, she's not as loud as Whiskers, at least not on microphone. So all right, let's turn the page. We talked about family-friendly event, and this is the world that we live in now, John Thorne. Family-friendly, wonderful North Canton Main Street Festival. And now we're going to shift gears in just a couple of days. And I can't even call it a festival because it's a gathering that we're going to be hanging out at this week.
Yeah, I mean, I just have an insane schedule the month of August. It's chaotic. I know, some people, I was able to get some other people some gigs, which I won't go into much detail with. They report to the gathering in the morning, so it's going to be a long week for some people within the AIW team universe, whatever you want to call it. I don't have to be there until Thursday. I'm still waiting for my official itinerary. Steve Guy lucked out, got the ring announcing gigs for both nights. I am trying my hardest to get these wrestling shows to be what they want them to be. It's gonna be a pretty interesting story, I'm sure, when it's all said and done. But wrestling on technically Friday and Saturday morning this week. But Thursday, realistically, I'll have to be there Thursday because the wrestling show starts at 1 a.m. Friday morning, and then I'll be there Friday as well because that wrestling show starts Saturday morning at 1 a.m. as well. And then I have to drive straight through to New Jersey because I booked this super hard to get tour of the Friday the 13th filming camp. That's right. It's like a whole waiting list thing and all this stuff, all these hoops that you got to jump through. And I pulled the trigger on it because it's months ago, because it's oh yeah, here you can go. And I paid, and it's a ton of money. And I thought that, I was going to have I'll just take my time getting there. And now, not the case. Now I have to stay up all night at the gathering, drive straight through 8 hours to the middle of nowhere woods on the border of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and then hopefully be functional enough for the 6 p.m. tour that Saturday night, and then drive right back so I can go to my real job on Monday, and then get ready for the 27th and Wrestle Rager. So very hectic schedule for me coming up.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about the gathering?
I can't wait for the experience of it.
Because you weren't sure if you could even do it at first.
I wasn't, because there were other things that I was potentially going to do earlier in the week, and I've been working a bar gig at a bar in Cleveland, and those are days that I usually work a fair amount and help them out, pick up multiple shifts in a day at some point. So, then the Thursday, Friday also became a thing, and I just kind of reasoned with them, and I was like, look, I'm gonna give you 5 days this week, but can I get these 2 specifically off, because I really want to go to the gathering at the Juggalos to see what this is about and go ring announce pro wrestling and see what's going on there. So
I don't know what tickets cost, but Thursday is like a killer Thursday is a killer lineup of people that I want to meet or meet again, which is Steve-O, Vanilla Ice, Kid and Play. I'm
pumped to be there for that. I saw Vanilla Ice live in Cleveland 2012, and it was awesome. I was so pumped. He did the song from Ninja Turtles 2. That's all I really wanted, and it was great. So he exceeded expectations for me, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'd love to go see Kid and Play. I'll be down there Thursday and Friday. Saturday's going to suck because I got to work at the bar at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and through our dinner rush and everything. So who knows? I probably won't get home until 9 or 10 p.m. on Saturday after a, late early morning.
That's where I'm at, and I'm trying to be as efficient as possible, with the job being a producer for the wrestling events, but we're also at the mercy of the other schedule, you know what I mean? The other schedules, which, it is what it is, I'm told that they're going to run a tight ship, but that could go anywhere. I just, I'm like, I have somewhere to be on Saturday that it's an 8-hour drive. So I'm just freaking out about that, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity when it presented itself, just for the story alone, to kind of work for Psychopathic Records for at least the weekend.
That's 100% it. When you asked me about it, I'm like, man, how do I pass this up just for the story? I think of the wild things that I have done, and we have done in wrestling, and just other stories that I have from various realms of entertainment in life, and I was like, man, how do I not add this to the list?
Yeah, it's just I'm very interested to see how it goes. Colt Cabana took me to the gathering many, many years ago, and it was such a crazy time. Tila Tequila got attacked. So many wild stories. Chris Hansen from the Catch a Predator guy is going to be there this weekend, which is insane. On the schedule, it is a Chris Hansen seminar about Predators, and it is immediately followed by a wet t-shirt contest on the official schedule. JuggaloGathering.com. So, I don't know. We're gonna see how it all goes. It seems like it's gonna be just pure insanity.
Yeah. It has to be. It's the Insane Clown Posse. You expect nothing less, John Thorne.
Yeah, so the thing that sucks, though, is with my long voyage on Saturday, I have to, make sure that I sleep, a lot on Friday. You know what I mean? Friday during the day. So that's going to be the juggling act.
That's my thought as well.
Need an energy drink sponsor. not the worldwide kind either, like Monster or Zoa or something.
Zoa, man, I love that Zoa.
I never
fan
had
of
it.
Zoa.
I never had it.
It's real good. The berry
Starbucks,
is,
maybe.
The berry Zoa is sugar free. It's a good deal. Big fan.
So yeah, I mean that's what's going on this weekend. We'll see how it goes. It is a lot. It is a lot of work. I'll say that. This job has been quite a bit of work. So we'll see.
We'll have more stories about this for you guys next week. Next week's episode. Already, I feel like I'm a real radio show producer because already I could plan out next week's episode with this being something that we haven't done in a while. Next week, we go into Hard Sell Tuesday, the second one ever, and then we go into and we'll have stories from the gathering.
Yeah, hopefully we're alive. There's some people that think we may be. Some people may think or think we may not make it. So hopefully we're alive on next Monday.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Hopefully this soundbite isn't used as an ominous look. He knew he was gonna die, sort of thing. But yeah, it's been it's been hectic, and as we all know, the world is in a frantic panic again over COVID and the Delta variant. So I have that stress of dealing with things, as you never know when the rug could be pulled out again on shows or events. So there's just been so much going on. It's been really a blur, honestly, to go from Chandler Biggins tournament, Jefferson, Ohio, and then we have a week off, and then we do the 4 shows in Canton. Then it's the gathering Thursday, Friday, and leave Saturday. Then it's the 2 shows in August, and then it's right back to 9-10. You know what I mean? So it's just like boom, 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 and then the Winchester.
23, the Winchester, yeah.
Right, and we announced it on Saturday, but we're back at the Tadmore Shrine on October 2nd. So it is just like rapid fire, a lot of stuff going on, and it's great. But then you sit down and you're just like, man, like today, like. When you're like, okay, I'm ready to podcast, I was like, I didn't even realize it was Monday. Like, it was just like I did not remember it at all that we had to podcast. So it's just like stuff like that, trying to keep this schedule going consistently again. It's a lot to juggle, on top of, doing the regular civilian life job as well. So, it is quite a bit going on in the world of AIW these last couple weeks and upcoming weeks.
Good news is, if you or I are not available to podcast, the Intense Icon Joshua Bishop has purchased podcasting equipment, and he's ready to go whenever you need him.
Yeah, but he's always at the gym. He's always at the gym. He's always like, yeah, I can podcast. I'll be done at the gym at like 11:30, and then I gotta boil some chicken, and then I'll be ready to go. It's like, dude, I have to wake up in the morning. I could be, because then when he gets podcasting, it's on down 13 different avenues of side stories and pitches. That's why his name has been changed to Russo in all the group chats, because of his Russo-esque storyline pitches. And I just can't. I just got to be in the right frame of mind to do that podcast.
He's a very creative young man. I'll say that.
Anything else you got?
I got nothing else. Final shout out last weekend was Brian Carson's birthday. Shout out to Brian Carson, excellence personified.
Shout him out.
One of the main dudes that's becoming a commentary. He got some work in this weekend too at the wrestling, putting in some work, putting his working boots on.
Tried out a couple other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't forget that you were late though, and you messed up the whole first show, Brian Carson. I'll say that.
Shout out to Brian Carson and his late.
Shout out to Dom. Not I don't know if Dom's ready for the big seat one day. You know what I mean? He is a very stressful guy when he's producing. He has a short fuse on him. He was. I mean, you would have thought the Canton Street Festival on Saturday was WrestleMania.
Well, you talk about pressure. He and Josh both took on, like, this is their hometown, man. This is the home
I know
turf.
they were both freaking out.
This was WrestleMania for them.
And I was just like, come on, like, just give me let's just take a deep breath and, we'll move this around here and this around here. But he was really stressed out though, because he really wanted to have the members only kids get a match and debut. If it was up to me, I probably would have just cut it, honestly, and just put it somewhere else. But I was able to figure out a solution, and they got to have their debut. So, and that was really a lot because Dom was so adamant on it, and Dom was having a meltdown on their behalf without them knowing that their match was, on the verge of getting cut. Because Brian Carson was running late, and we had this like really strict schedule we had to adhere to from the city because they did not want us going head to head with any of the bands that they booked at the other stage. Mm-hmm. So Dom was feeling the pressure, I'll say that, and we got through it. He's just you've never seen. Just a ball of anxiety and anger if you haven't seen Dom with my producer's headset on, because man, if you see Dom wearing the headset, get out of the way.
A lot of chatter Saturday.
A lot of chatter on those fucking radios.
Yeah,
a lot of chatter on those radios.
Good time on the festival shows on the radios, I gotta say. And then final shout out, since you said Dom, final shout out to Dom's parents. The Guarinis showed up. I don't know, did you know that?
Yeah, so did and shout out to Josh Bishop's mom. She brought a cooler full of energy drinks and waters, to make sure we all stayed awake and hydrated throughout the day.
See, home turf, the Guarinis and the Bishops.
The Bishops
taking care of everybody.
Shout out to the coach, Porter O'Shea, who then took advantage of that cooler and filled it with beer, in which he drank. Yeah, there was a very close 2 count, so I don't know if any of that. I don't know if any of that had anything to do with it. We'll leave it at that. God love the coach, huh?
That's right. Hey, if John Thor and I make it through Gathering of the Juggalos this weekend, we'll be right back here to talk to you guys next week for giving you a hard sell Tuesday. So for AIW owner John Thor, my name's Steve Guy. We'll talk to you, hopefully, presumably, next week right here on AIW's The Card is Going to Change.
Whoop, whoop.